Okay, hello everyone. No panda in this video. I don't really know if you like the panda. Anyway, we will see. And well, now I'm going to talk a little bit about the cross product operator. This one is actually really a really important operator because we are going to be using this operator in order to combine two tables. Okay, so basically we want to merge two tables. Is the basic or the principles of the join operator that we will be seeing later on, that we take two tables and then we want to combine that information that we have in two tables. Okay, so basically what we're going to be seeing is that we're going to be using the times operator. Now in this one, this is different than the other ones. We can have different attributes in the relations, in the tables. For example, in this example we have these attributes, we have three attributes, and here we have two attributes, and we don't need to have the same names for the attributes. So this is one difference, because now what we're going to be doing is that we combine the two tables. Okay, and we will be seeing in a minute how we're going to be combining the two tables. Okay, the first step that we are going to be seeing is that the attributes of the result, this is going to be S1 times R1. Okay, so basically what we are going to have is that we have in the first portion we have the attributes of the first table, these ones that we have here, and in the second portion we have the attributes of the second table. Okay, so this is the first step, the number of attributes that we have in the input. We combine the two attributes. And now what we're going to be doing is that we are going to be merging everything. Okay, so basically we combine everything. This is like when you are doing a select. This is actually when you are doing a select, but you don't have this this constraint indicating that this is the element of this table is matching with this other table. Okay, so basically the first step that we are going to be doing is, let me just quickly delete this. Okay, basically the first portion is going to be, this portion is going to, we take this portion from the first table, so 22, Dustin, 7 and 45, this is coming from the first table, and now we combine that with all the entries of the second table, because this is just the cross product operator. So basically we combine this one with this portion that we have here. Okay, so basically we combine these two, 22, 1, 1. Now the second entry is going to be the first one with the second one, and the first one with the third one, and so on and so forth. So we have 22, Dustin, 7, 45, which corresponds to the first entry in the first relation, and the second entry of the second relation. Okay, remember that the attributes are all the attributes of both tables. Okay, that's the point. And then if we have more entries, then we continue. In this particular example, we only have two entries in this table, and we have three entries in this table. So remember, step one is combining the first one with the first one of the second relation, the first one of the first relation with the second one of the second relation. And now we continue with the second element of the first relation. Is actually, and we combine all the possible, we get at the end what we get is all the possible combinations. Okay, so now we get 31st, this one corresponds to the first table, and the second portion again corresponds to the first part of the second table, and then the second one and the second one, and so on and so forth. Okay, so basically we keep going. Now these two, this is what we're combining here until we finish. Okay, so sometimes we are going to have two attributes that they have the same name, so it would be difficult to know which one we are referring to in the future. So if we want to do this, we can rename. Okay, basically we can use the rename operator, and in this particular example we are saying that we're going to rename using the number of the attribute. Okay, we're going to be saying that the first one, this is what we say we are using in this particular example, we're using the rename operator, I'm not going to be using a lot the rename operator in the future, but at least you get an idea of how we use the rename operator. So basically we use the rename operator, C equals C. Then what we are doing is that the first attribute, we are going to rename that with this SID1, and the fifth operator and the fifth attribute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we rename that with SID2. This is what we are doing here. So in order to be able to differentiate, to know how to refer to one attribute or the other one. So this is something that we can do easily in order to avoid, because remember that this at the end we most likely will be using this, the output of this cross product operator in the future, okay? Because at the end of the day what we really want is that we want to create a join on these two elements, when typically, not always, when they match, okay? So at the end of the day, that's what we want to do later on, and we are going to be using other operators that we have. And that's why when we start using the join operator, okay, there are multiple variations of the join operator, okay. I'm going to start today with the conditional join, okay, with the conditional join, which is basically we are going to be using this symbol in order to represent the conditional join. This is one of these additional operator, but it's quite useful in the future. We are going to be using this join operator, one of the variations of some of the variations of the join operator. At the end, we're going to be this is just we can rewrite this condition join with conditional join in this way, okay, because what we are doing is that we are introducing the condition, okay, because remember, this is going to give me, the cross product is going to give me all the possible combinations that we have between the two tables. Then we want to constrain that, we want to select some of those entries in the table, okay, depending on the condition, on the conditions that we have. Sometimes we are going to be saying that the conditions that the elements, the entries that are matching in the table, given the ID. Okay, so basically this is just how we are going to be using this join operator. Again, the output, the attributes that we are going to have are the same for this one, are the same that we get from the cross product operator. Okay, so the number of attributes, but we are going to have, typically we have less entries in the table when we have this condition operator, because well, in the worst case we have the same number of entries or tuples in the output of these two than the cross product operator, because we have this constraint, we have this condition that we have to satisfy. So in the worst case, this condition is not filtering, is not removing anything, so we have less or equal than the cross product operator. Sometimes we have some other variations that I'm not going to cover at this moment, but I will be covering this in some time. Okay, so for example, now if we go in practice and we want to start writing some joins using this conditional join, what we are going to have is that we introduce the condition. Okay, in this case, this is the condition that we want to introduce. So basically, this is the output that we get of applying the conditional, the cross product. But now we are going to be removing all the elements that are not going to satisfy this one. Okay, so basically, we are saying that this element is not must be less than this other attribute. Okay, for example, these two, of course, are not satisfying the condition. These are the same. This one that we have here is less. 22 is of course less than 58. So this one is going to be in the output, which is this one that we have here. We remove the 31 and 22 because it's not satisfying the condition. Now we have the second one here, which is this one that we have in here, because it's satisfying the condition, and then we remove all the other attributes. And this is a quite popular operator, as I say before. We also have the another variation of the join is the equality join. Okay, basically what we are going to be saying here is that all we are going to be defining is the same conditional join, but we are going to simplify a little bit, and now all we are going to be doing is that we indicate the attributes that they will be matching using the equality constraint. Okay, basically this means that we are going to be looking for this attribute, that the attribute must be in the two relations. Okay, because we are going to be saying that this attribute must be, the name must be the same, and we are going to be using the equality. In this case we are saying that the SID must be in relation 1, and so in this relation and in this relation we must have this particular ID, and what we are going to be doing is saying that is equal. So you can rewrite this if you want as something like S1 SID of S1 dot equal to SID. Okay, this is what we're going to be doing. And now, since we are using this equality join, now we know that they have to we will be using the same attribute, because this is the attribute that we are doing in order to join the two tables. So in the output we are going to be only including one of the two attributes, because they are both the same. So we are not going to be duplicating that attribute, because by definition it's going to be like this. Okay, so keep that in mind. In this case we only introduce one copy of that particular attribute. Remember, there is no point of including this twice. Now another very popular attribute operator is the natural join. This one is also quite important. Now in this one we are not going to include the condition, because we are going to assume that all the attributes that they have the same name, they will be using equality constraints. This is what we are going to be doing with the natural join. Okay, thank you very much.